Now today I want to talk about what VRAM is and how much of it you need, and the different types and speeds of VRAM in graphics cards. Now, much like a CPU and system RAM, a GPU and VRAM work very similarly. Now, a GPU die is very different from a processor die, but a GPU die, and the die just means, the chip, the core on the GPU card, that's where all of the rendering happens. The VRAM, on the other hand, is more like a buffer. It's very fast, and it contains information that your graphics card is going to need to load. And that's why you see VRAM operate at very, very high speeds, often higher than system RAM. For example, my system RAM behind me is 6200 megahertz. The VRAM on my graphics card is about 17,000 megahertz. Because it has to be very quick, because it has to store assets that your graphics card is going to need and then be able to transfer them very quickly. To answer the question of how much you need, obviously it's going to depend on what you're playing. If you're gaming primarily in 1080p, you might be fine with 8 gigabytes, but if you're playing newer titles, even in a lower resolution like 1080p, I would still recommend 16 gigabytes. Now, I game in 1440p, and 16 gigabytes is plenty. If you play mostly older titles, or really exclusively older titles, and you want to save money on a graphics card and only get one with 8 gigabytes of VRAM, then that might be a good option for you. But if you're going to be playing newer titles, I would highly suggest getting a 16 gig or more. Now, the reason I say go with 16 over 12 is because I have seen some newer games, even in 1440p, if you want to crank those settings up, use really close to 16 gigs. I mean, some of them use 13 to 14 gigabytes, and you just want that extra headroom and that extra room to go up. Even if you're not playing in ultra settings, it's probably going to benefit you if you can afford to get a 16 gigabyte card. But VRAM isn't everything to consider. The core, like I was talking about earlier, the actual core speed and the architecture is going to be important too. But the amount of VRAM is just one factor to consider. You also have the actual speed of the VRAM. Now, newer graphics cards like NVIDIA 50 series cards, you'll see GDDR7. Now, G just stands for graphics, and DDR7 is double data rate 7. In your computer, you probably have DDR4 or 5. 7 is the fastest being made right now. So if you're looking at two graphics cards and they have the same amount of VRAM, consider the actual speed of the VRAM. 7 is going to be faster than 6, but you also do need to look at the base speed and see if there's any room for overclocking. That's about it, guys. Just wanted to share that quick video.